This is Min Heejin, the biggest nightmare K-pop's ever seen, the worst mama of K-pop, the ultimate destroyer. Now, if you're not into K-pop, you probably have no idea who she is, but let me put it simply. With just one sentence, she basically single-handedly ended the career of one of my all-time favorite girl groups, Newjeans. This video, it's a full-on rant. Even if you don't know anything about K-pop, don't worry, the roast is universal. So this whole thing, it was straight up ridiculous for Min Heejin. Like, imagine sitting through someone else's trial, Newjeans in this case, and somehow you're the one getting roasted in the verdict. The court basically hit Min Heejin with a big fat L before her own trial even properly began. And Newjeans, they were stuck, couldn't even move. It got to a point where Min Heejin was like, yeah, okay, why bother fighting more when the script's already written? Her actual trial hadn't even kicked off yet, but the judges already gave us a preview of her ending, and spoiler alert, it wasn't pretty. Alright, let me wrap this up real quick before we dive into what's next for Newjeans and Min Heejin, now that they're literally hanging off the edge of a legal cliff. So, the Seoul High Court basically shut down Newjeans' final appeal. They tried one last time to fight Ador's injunction, and the court was like, nope, we're done here. Technically, sure, there are still some legal steps left, but it's giving pointless paperwork. Even Newjeans seem to accept it, like, yeah, okay, we're not arguing anymore. It's official. As of June 26th, the girls didn't even bother reappealing the whole you can't sign your own deals or break off from Ador ruling. And to be fair, you only get like a week to fight that, so either they didn't want to, or they just knew it was a lost cause. The judge even said, if these girls dip and start doing solo stuff, they'll take all the fame and profit with them, while Ador gets left in the dust with zero return on investment. And that's a cold but very K-pop industry kind of logic. And just to twist the knife a little more, the court technically said the girls can keep working, as long as it's under Ador. But even after all this, Newjeans made it crystal clear, they're not going back. But the biggest takeaway? It's over between Newjeans and Min Heejin. Not because they're beefing or had some big falling out, but because there's literally nowhere left to go together. Min Heejin has to keep pushing forward with her own plans, while Newjeans, their road is blocked, at least for now. So it's time to part ways. Whether they wanted it or not, that chapter is closing. Okay, so technically, Newjeans can still keep arguing in the main lawsuit, but let's be real. The way things are going, there's pretty much nothing left to argue about. Now they're down to just two options, and none of them are exactly pretty. Option 1, swallow your pride, go back to the company, and do whatever they say like it's 2022 again. But after all that's happened, that's a tough ask, especially for Hanny and Danielle, who've been leading this whole rebellion. If they crawl back now, that's awkward tension. Option 2, don't go back. Just hold your ground, get sued into oblivion, and enjoy a lifetime of debt. We're talking hundreds of billions in one, per member. Like, congratulations, you just unlocked idle to indentured servant mode. Pay $1 billion every time you perform a single song and dance, and still somehow try to keep working. Weirdly, that sounds like the most doable plan right now. Painful, expensive, but doable. So yeah, it's giving pick your poison, and none of these are winning. Bottom line? No matter how messy things are with Ador, Newjeans can't keep teaming up with Min Heejin. That relationship is done. Hybe didn't drag this out for fun. Their whole endgame was to split Min Heejin and Newjeans, isolate her, and then handle them separately. And now, that plan's working. With Newjeans and Min Heejin finally on different pages, Hybe and their legal squad are basically throwing a party in court before even stepping in. Now here's where it gets crazy. This wasn't even Min Heejin's trial, but sis still got dragged like it was all about her. The court just used the Newjeans trial as an excuse to absolutely roast Min Heejin. Like, why were there so many mentions of her in a verdict that wasn't even about her? And not just mentions, I'm talking fatal blows. Let me read you this one line, and I swear I'm not making this up. From the court verdict, it says, Min Heejin is judged to be in a position where she destroyed the foundation of the entire structure that leads to Hybe, Ador, and Newjeans while trying to find a way to dominate Ador. They really called her the destroyer, not just of Hybe, not just of Ador, but of Newjeans too. The court basically said, she wrecked the whole system. And the way they worded it? It's not a stretch to read it as her ruining Newjeans themselves, like a mom tearing apart her own kids. So yeah, not her trial, but they still handed her a metaphorical death sentence. The court literally said that all of Min Heejin's mess, that was her own doing. They flat out said the chaos she's in as CEO, totally self-inflicted. That line alone is brutal. Min Heejin was probably hoping the blame would fall on Hybe so she could still cash in that put option, take Newjeans with her, and walk away a winner. But nope, the court shut that fantasy down hard and said, nah girl, this one's on you. At that point, it's like, why even bother pushing this case further? The verdict was so extra and heavy-handed, it's honestly shocking. Like, even Hybe's own people were probably side-eyeing each other like, Wait, we went that hard? Long story short, the court didn't just rule against Min Heejin, they went full savage. Here's another plot twist. Straight from the court docs turns out, Min Heejin wasn't even the one who picked the Newjeans members. Yup. The court literally said she had nothing to do with choosing the girls. At that time, they were just trainees at Source Music, and there's no proof Min Heejin had a hand in the lineup. What the court did confirm is that Hybe was the one that auditioned them, selected the five, built the team, and even set up the company structure to support them. Min Heejin might have produced Newjeans later on, but Hybe was the one calling the shots from day one. Shocking? Yeah, a little. Because ever since I became a bunny, I just saw Min Heejin getting all the praise for Newjeans' success, the mama bear, the mother of Newjeans. Now for the final blow, the court wrapped it all up by saying this: Hybe is the real backbone behind Newjeans' success. Period. And apparently, sometime around 2023, Min Heejin started getting real salty about her shareholder deal, pushing for changes, and trying to figure out how to take Newjeans and run the group solo, totally outside of Hybe's control. And that might be where it all fell apart, because this same kind of conclusion already popped up in the earlier case where the court basically said, it's betrayal. But like, not betrayal, betrayal. It's messy, very messy. So after all this, Heejin team went around telling the media, yeah, we knew we'd win, while Min Heejin acted like they just pulled off the legal comeback of the century. They both came out like, see, we didn't get punished criminally, victory, baby. Let's just all make up now. And looking back, that's actually hilarious, because the court's latest ruling basically did a full 180 from the first injunction, total contradiction. So now, Min Heejin team are probably sitting there like, wait, what just happened? And guess what? This time, no smug press statements, no bold declarations of appeal, radio silence, which honestly screams one thing: panic mode. They've probably been losing sleep over this. The whole time, Min Heejin tied here to Newjeans so tightly like she wouldn't catch the legal smoke. But in doing that, they ended up linking themselves so much, they created a one sinks, we all sink situation. That's why even though this was technically Newjeans' trial, the court still dragged Min Heejin into it and started laying out her judgment early before her actual trial even begins. So yeah, Min Heejin might have been playing chess, but the court just flipped the board. Honestly, if they had played this smart from the beginning, things wouldn't have spiraled like this. They should have kept the trials separate, had different lawyers for Newjeans and Min Heejin, and actually worked like a team dividing evidence, picking their battles, and throwing shade at the right people when needed. But nope. Min Heejin and Newjeans shared the same legal team, and Newjeans kept pushing this whole Min Heejin must stay narrative. So naturally, the court had no choice but to start judging her too. She got pulled into the spotlight not because the court wanted to, but because she left the door wide open. And this all came from Min Heejin's own obsession with control. No one else to blame here. She tried to twist Newjeans every which way like some mastermind mom character, thinking she'd win even if the group burned in the process. But hey, when you play that kind of game, don't be shocked when karma claps back, and in this case, the court delivered it personally. Let's just say it how it is. From the very beginning, Min Heejin didn't really care about Newjeans. She wasn't protecting them, she wasn't mothering them, she was trying to take down Hybe, no matter the cost. She saw the whole house shaking and thought, if it's going down, I'm taking everyone with me. That's why she didn't flinch at the idea of Newjeans getting slapped with hundreds of billions in penalties. She used them like chess pieces, not like people. Let's stop pretending this was ever about love or care, because it wasn't. In the end, it felt like she just wanted everything to burn. Hybe? Burn it? Newjeans? Throw them under the bus? K-pop as a whole? Ruin the rep in front of international media? And if you really think about it, she kind of got what she wanted. Newjeans? Shattered. Adore? Just an empty shell now. K-pop? Dragged through the mud in global interviews? But when you try to drown everyone else, you end up sinking with them. And Min Heejin? She's paying the price. Heavy. All her moves backfired. Her plans are floating in midair, gone, and it's not even over. Now she's got to deal with the aftermath, all the trials, all the debt, all the chaos she stirred. She claimed she made $2 billion a year, stacked up $5 billion in total, but guess what? It's all going down the drain. There's $1 billion lawyer fees, fines to Belift Lab and Source Music, $100 million to a former female employee, and a casual $3 billion she borrowed from Bang Si-hyuk. Pay it all back, and she's left with nothing. And that's the best case scenario. If she gets convicted of embezzlement or anything criminal, game over. Physically, legally, financially, she might not recover. And now, because of this whole Newjeans trial, there's no going back for the group either. They can't return to the company. They need to finally let go of whatever connection they were still holding onto with that fake family. Newjeans is stuck. Min Heejin headed somewhere even worse. Min Heejin made one of the worst plays ever. She got way too involved with Newjeans before even starting her own trial. And in the process, she basically destroyed herself. The court literally labeled her the destroyer, like not just of structures or systems, but of everything tied to Hybe, Adore, and Newjeans. That title alone is going to be used as evidence in the police investigation over her embezzlement case. And at this point, it's looking real hard for her to dodge criminal charges. Most people, normal people, would be freaking out about protecting themselves first. But Min Heejin, she's a different breed. It's like she'd rather watch everything burn as long as no one else gets to shine. Even if she's getting dragged through hell, she just can't stand seeing anyone else succeed. And honestly, part of me wonders if she's actually satisfied with how this ended. Like, if I go down, I'm taking the whole system with me. But still, it's hard to wrap your head around. This whole situation is just unreal.